Module 2, Basic Grammar and Sentence Formation. Course, Efik-Ibibio. Efik-Ibibio language. This slide introduces the second major stage of your learning journey. Module 1 gave you the foundation of sounds, tones, greetings, self-introduction, numbers, days, and time. Module 2 now moves you from isolated words into full, working sentences. The title Basic Grammar and Sentence Formation tells you exactly what to expect. You will learn the core rules that let words join together to express complete thoughts. In Efik-Ibibio, grammar is not just about word order like in English. It is about how small parts attach to words to show who is doing something, when it happens, how many things there are, and whether you are stating a fact or asking a question. Module 2. Module Contents. This slide lays out the roadmap for Module 2 so you know exactly what skills you will build and in what order. There are 7 parts, and each one adds a new layer to your ability to form sentences. Introduction comes first. It explains the big ideas that make Efik-Ibibio grammar different from English. You will see why the language uses prefixes, how one word can carry a lot of meaning, and why tone keeps showing up in grammar, not just pronunciation. Nouns and pronouns in Efik-Ibibio covers the identity words. You learn how native nouns usually start with vowel prefixes like a, I, o, or u, and how those prefixes matter. You also learn the 2 types of pronouns, independent pronouns for emphasis and subject prefixes that attach to verbs in everyday speech. Singular and plural forms teaches you how to talk about one thing versus many. Efik-Ibibio does not add s like English. Instead you use the marker madam before nouns, or you add number words. You will also learn the few important exceptions like O becoming Iwo for people, and I am becoming Naito for children. Basic verbs and sentence structure shows you the normal word order, which is subject, verb, object. More important, you learn how verbs carry the subject and tense inside them. A verb can tell you who is acting and when, without needing extra words. Adjectives and simple descriptions teaches you how to add detail. The big rule is that adjectives come after the noun, not before like in English. So you say house big instead of big house. Many adjectives also work like stative verbs, so you do not always need a word for is. Forming statements and questions gives you the tools to share information and to ask for it. You will see how rising intonation can turn a statement into a yes or no question, and how question words like any for who, so for what, and mini for where start content questions. Module Contents. Module Overview, what we will cover. This slide sets the stage for how Efik-Ibibio grammar actually works. You will focus on 5 areas that form the backbone of every sentence. First, nouns and pronouns, which are the identity words. Nouns name people, places, things, and ideas. Pronouns stand in for nouns so you do not repeat the same word. Second, singular and plural forms, because quantity does not work like English. There is no s to add. Third, module overview, what? The naming words. Nouns in Efik-Ibibio are called NN. They name people, places, things, ideas, and everything you can point to or think about. A key feature is that most native nouns begin with a vowel prefix. The common prefixes are a, I, o, and u. This vowel is not random. It is part of the word and it affects how the noun links with verbs and adjectives. For example, Ufok means house, it means father, and Ido means body. If you remove the starting vowel, the word often stops sounding like a native Efik-Ibibio noun and native speakers may not recognize it. Functions in sentences. Nouns can serve as the subject or the object in a sentence. The basic word order is subject, verb, object, so position tells you the role, but tone and verb agreement also help. When a noun is the subject, it performs the action. Example, Omo dio yuto means the child eats food. Here Omo, child, is the subject doing the eating. When a noun is the object, it receives the action. Example, Omi dio yuton means I eat food. Here yuton, food, is the object being eaten. The verb dio stays the same in both, but the subject changes. You will notice that the verb can also take a subject prefix that agrees with the noun, which is why the language is called prefix heavy. Example: the naming words. Pronouns. Madame Edidiane. Pronouns replace nouns so you do not repeat the same name or object every time. Efik-Ibibio uses pronouns constantly because the language is prefix heavy and the verb must always show who is acting. There are two main types you need to know. Two types. The first type is independent pronouns. These stand alone and are used for emphasis, contrast, or when answering questions. Examples are omi for I or me, afo for you singular, any for he, she, or it, nine for we, beautiful for you plural, and mmo for they. You use this when you want to stress the person. Omi, nikoyura means as for me, I am going to the market. The second type is subject prefixes. These attach to the front of verbs and are used in normal, everyday speech. The common ones are N for I, A for you singular, E for he, she, it, they, and I for we. So instead of always saying ndaya, most speakers just say ndaya for I eat. The prefix already tells you the subject is I. This is why Efik-Ibibio sentences can sound short but still be complete. Important sound rules. 3 points make pronouns work correctly. First, third person singular he, she, it, second person plural you all, and third person plural they all use the same prefix on verbs. You tell them apart by context, by tone, or by adding the independent pronoun for clarity. Any idia means he or she eats. MMO idia means they eat. Both use he on the verb, but the independent pronoun or context clears the meaning. Second, the N pronouns. Possessive pronouns. Showing ownership. Possession in Efik-Ibibio works differently from English. Instead of putting the owner before the thing, you put the possessive word after the noun. The structure is always noun plus possessive. The possessive words are me for my, efo for your singular, easy for his, her, its, nine for our, beautiful for your plural, and mmo for their. Examples make it clear. You fuck me means my house, literally house my. Itefo means your father, literally father your. Idom mmo means their body, literally body there. The possessive stays after the noun even when you add adjectives or other words. For big my house you say you fuck aquami, literally house big my. The order is noun, adjective, possessive. Kinship terms. Kinship words are culturally central, and you will hear them with possessives every day. Et means father. Ike means mother. Ayan means child. Ayanike means sibling, literally child of mother. Because family ties carry respect, these words often appear first in introductions and greetings. You say et me for my father, Ikefo for your mother, and Ayanike naim for our sibling. 2 notes on usage. First, tone on the possessive can shift depending on the noun it follows, so listen carefully when native speakers say them. Possessive pronoun. Slide 7, singular and plural. No S here. English shows plural by adding S or ES to the end of a noun. Efik-Ibibio does not use S at all. Plural is shown by markers before the noun, by number words, or by context. This is a key difference, and trying to add S will make your speech sound incorrect. Primary method. The main way to show plural is to add madame before the noun. Madame means plural or song. So you fuck means house, and madame you fuck means houses. Ebot means goat, and madame ebot means goats. Madame works for people, things, and animals. If the number is clear, you can drop madame and just use a numeral. Ebot iba means 2 goats. Naito isha means 5 children. In both cases the noun itself does not change shape. Key difference with examples. Because the noun stays the same, you rely on madame or numbers to show quantity. Owo means person. To say people, you do not say owos. You change the word to iwo, which is the true plural form. Slide 7. Irregular plurals. Exceptions to the rule. While madame handles most plurals in Efik-Ibibio, a few nouns do not follow that pattern. These exceptions fall into two groups. The first group is collective or mass nouns. These words name things that are seen as a group or as uncountable, so they do not take madam and they do not change form. The second group is supportive plurals, where the singular and plural are completely different words. Collective nouns. Mon means water. You do not say madam mon because water is already a mass. If you need to show amount, you use containers or measures. Monikpo IBA means 2 cups of water. Inuan means birds. It can refer to one bird or many birds. If you need to be specific, you add a number. Inuan kiet for 1 bird, Inuan duop for 10 birds. Tan means sand or dust. Like water, it is a mass noun and stays the same whether there is a little or a lot. Irregular. Basic verbs and sentence structure. Efik-Ibibio uses subject-verb-object order, or SVO, just like English. That means the person or thing doing the action comes first, the action comes second, and the receiver of the action comes third. The difference is how much information the verb carries. In English, the verb changes a little for tense, eat, ate, will eat. In Efik-Ibibio, the verb carries the subject, the tense, and sometimes the object or negation all in one word. Pattern. Subject plus verb plus object. Example, Omi dio yudia means I eat food. Omi is the subject I, dio is the verb eat, yudia is the object food. You can also drop the independent pronoun omi and let the verb show the subject. Ndaya yudia also means I eat food. The N at the front of Naya tells you the subject is I, so omi is not required unless you want emphasis. Prefix shows subject. The subject prefixes are consistent and you will use them in almost every sentence. Negative sentences. Saying no or not. Negation in Efik-Ibibio does not use a separate word like not before the verb. Instead, you add a negative marker directly to the verb. The two common markers are ku and gi. Which one you hear depends on dialect, on the verb, and on sound harmony, but ku is widely used and safe for learners. The marker attaches to the verb root, usually after it, and the tone of the verb may adjust when you add it. Rule. To turn a positive statement into a negative, keep the same subject-verb-object order and add ku or gi to the verb. You do not move the marker to the end of the sentence. It stays with the action word because the verb carries the meaning. Examples. Omin koyura means I am going to the market. To negate it, you say omin kokuyura, which means I am not going to the market. The ku attaches to ko, the verb root for go. Another example, any idia yudia means he or she eats food. The negative is any idia kuyudia, meaning he or she does not eat food. If you drop the independent pronoun, the rule still works. Kokuyura means I am not going to the market, and idia kuyudia means he or she does not eat food. Negative sentence. Adjectives and simple descriptions. Adjectives in Efik-Ibibio are called Madame Edidayana Enye. They describe nouns by giving more detail about size, color, quality, or condition. The most important rule is placement. Adjectives come after the noun, never before it. English says big house. Efik-Ibibio says house big, which is Ufok Aqua. This order is fixed. If you put the adjective first, the phrase will sound wrong. Basic pattern. The structure is noun plus adjective. Ufok means house, Aqua means big, so Ufok Aqua means big house. Omo means child, Ofon means good or beautiful, so Omo Ofon means good child or beautiful child. Etok means small, so Etok Ayan becomes Ayan Etok for small child. Notice the adjective follows even when the noun starts with a vowel. Stative verbs as adjectives. Many words that act like adjectives in English are actually stative verbs in Efik-Ibibio. That means they describe a state of being and can work like verbs without adding a word for is. Ofon means to be good or to be beautiful. So Omo Ofon can mean the child is good or the child is beautiful, depending on context. Akwe means to be big. Ufok Akwe can mean the house is big. Because of this, you often do not need a separate linking verb. If you want to say the house is very big, you intensify the adjective, Ufok aqua aqua. 2 notes for accuracy. First, tone on adjectives can change their meaning, so learn each one with the noun by listening. Second, when you add possessives, they come after the adjective. Ufok aqua me means my big house, literally house big my. Stative verbs as adjectives in Efik-Ibibio. In Efik-Ibibio, many words that work like adjectives in English are actually stative verbs. A stative verb describes a state or quality rather than an action you perform. It carries the meaning of to be in a certain condition, which is why the language does not need a separate word for is, am, or are when you describe nouns. The basic pattern is noun plus stative verb. For example, often means to be good or to be beautiful, so omo often means the child is good or the child is beautiful. Aqua means to be big, so Ufok aqua means the house is big. Etok means to be small, so ebot etok means the goat is small. Other common ones are ozen for to be new, eb for to be old or ancient, ophion for to be white or clean, and idim for to be deep. Forming statements and questions. Efik-Ibibio makes questions 2 ways. The first way is for yes or no answers. The second way is for information answers like who, what, where, and when. Both ways keep the same subject-verb-object order, so you do not rearrange words like English sometimes does. Yes or no questions. To turn a statement into a yes or no question, you keep the words the same and use rising intonation at the end. You can also add a particle co at the end for clarity, especially in writing. Example statement, Efo idia yudia means you eat food. As a question, Efo idia yudia. With rising tone means do you eat food? You can add ku, Efo idia yudia ku. It means the same thing and signals a question more clearly. Another example, any odiuku Ufok means he or she is in the house. Question form, any odiuku Ufok ku. Meaning is he or she in the house? The answer is either E for yes or I for no. Information questions. For content questions, you place a question word at the front of the sentence. The common ones are any for who, nso for what, mini for where, mini for when, iti didi for how, and si on for why. The rest of the sentence keeps SVO order. Examples, any odi you do, means who is there. Nso A for idia, means what are you eating. Forming state. Conclusion. Across these slides we build the foundation of Efik-Ibibio structure. You learn that the language is tonal and uses subject-verb-object order. We covered greetings and personal pronouns, including the difference between independent forms like omi, efo, any, and the subject prefixes n, e that attach to verbs. You practice possession with the noun plus possessive order, so Ufok me means my house, and soha plurals use madam or number words, with key exceptions like I am becoming Naito. We looked at verbs that carry subject and tense in one word, form negatives by adding ku to the verb, asked questions with tone or words like any and so, and use stative verbs such as often and aqua to describe nouns without a word for is. Language grows through use, so practice these patterns daily with short, real sentences. Focus on the subject prefixes, the noun plus modifier order, and listening for tone, because tone changes meaning as much as the letters do. With what you have now, you can introduce yourself, describe things, ask basic questions, and say what is or is not happening. Keep adding vocabulary to the structures you know, and speak a little every day. Sasongo Ndidiana Efik.